Hey guys, very basic Bible topic study. Gonna study a topic. Gonna go read random verse, random quote. God in charge of all things. Ain't nothing random probably. I'm gonna go read a verse of scripture, find a topic. There's a specific one I did recently in Ruth, and I was like, man, that was really good. Not not like I'm glad I did this specific topic, but I was like, hey, let's look at this. And I looked at it real quick, and then it like went for like 10-15 minutes. I got a lot out of it, and then I said, okay, let's continue in Ruth. It's like, wow, that was like bing 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 on point. So I figured I would do it again here. I'm going to go read in Ruth, and while you're at it, go check out my super long Ruth Bible study. Share screen. Okay, so Ruth went down to the threshing floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law had commanded her. Okay, when Boaz had eaten and drunk and his heart was cheerful. Now, we've been told elsewhere in Ruth that Boaz is a wonderful, awesome, godly, loving man. Like think of David, a man after God's own heart. Think of Joseph, that all Joseph did was love God and want to do what God said. You heard that loud noise, it's because there's a train. So Boaz is a great guy, but when he had eaten and drunk and his heart was cheerful. Let's look this stuff up. Boaz get drunk and his heart is cheerful. Yay. No. Maybe just eating and drinking, not strong wine and drink, but just eating and drinking, he just becomes happy. It'd make me happy if I was like, had a long day's work or something, and then I ate and drank some stuff. Yeah, even if it was soda. But that was come up. He went to lie down the end of the heap. Okay. Let's see. Drunk. No, what was the thing over here? His heart was cheerful. Heart cheerful. Let's see. Since you did not serve the Lord your God with joy and a cheerful heart in gratitude for an abundance of all things. So both of them sat down and ate and drank together. And the girl's father said to the man, please be so kind as to spend the night and let your heart be cheerful. Levi's concubine raped and killed. Yikes. Heart cheerful. What? However, the man got up to go, but the father-in-law urged him and said, spend the night. That doesn't really tell us. It does say, so both of them sat down and ate, and so please be so kind to spend the night and let your heart be cheerful. So they ate and drank, and they let his heart be cheerful. Doesn't really tell us much there. Spend the night here again, 9:19, 19:6, 19:9. But as eating drunk, his heart was cheerful. Okay. Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he was having a feast in his house like the feast of a king, and Nabal's heart was cheerful within him, for he was very drunk. So she did not tell him anything until the morning light. Okay. Nabal's cheerful, for he was very drunk. Okay. Absalom commanded his servants, see now, when Amnon's heart is cheerful with wine, I say to you, strike Amnon, then put him to death. Do not fear, I have not commanded myself. Okay. Oh, hey. On the seventh day, the heart of the king was cheerful with wine. Wine, which makes a human heart cheerful, so that he makes his face gleam with oil, and food which sustains the human heart. Okay. Okay. Drink your wine with a cheerful heart, for God has already approved your works. Okay. Hey, look at that. 2 Corinthians. You must do just as he has decided in his heart, not really in reproach, for God loves a cheerful giver. So decide in your own heart to be a cheerful giver, or to decide what to give in your own heart and be cheerful about it. But that's a little different. Okay, let's look up this psalm. Now, on the seventh day, we know what cheerful, okay, so eaten and drunk and his heart was cheerful. I'm guessing he did get drunk, or at least tipsy. Boaz is a good man. Would he have gotten drunk? Is drinking okay at all? That's what a lot of people wonder about this. So that's what we're going to talk about. Full chapter. Psalm 104. Okay. Bless the Lord, my soul. Lord, my God, you are very great. You are clothed with splendor and majesty, covering yourself with light as with a cloak, stretching out heaven like a tin curtain. He's pretty good. He's pretty awesome, right? He establishes the earth upon its foundations so that it will not totter. You covered it with the deep sea as with a garment. You covered the earth. The waters, they fled at your rebuke. So God's awesome. Bless the Lord. He's mighty, stretching out the tent like a heaven. The mountains rose, the valleys sank to the place where you established them, God. You're big and bad and awesome. He sends forth springs in the valleys. They flow between the mountains. He sends forth springs in the valleys. They give drink to every mountain of the field, every animal of the field. That's good. That's a good thing. Giving drink to the animals of the field. The wild donkeys quench their thirst. The birds of the sky dwell beside the streams. They lift up their voices following the branches, her waters. He waters the mountains of his upper chambers. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of God's works. This is good, good. So God's giving water to the animals. He's watering the field. He's watering the earth. He causes grass to grow for the cattle, vegetation for the labor of mankind. Good. You can't eat without vegetation. And you can't eat without cattle. The cattle eat the grass, the humans eat the vegetation and the cattle, so that they may produce food from the earth and wine, which makes a cheerful heart, so that he may make his face gleam with oil, so the human may make his face shiny with oil and be like, yay, I'm happy. Food which sustains the human heart. The trees of the field drink their fill. The cedars of Lebanon, which God planted, where the birds build their nests, and the stork, the high mountains are for the wild goats. Everything seems good. He made the moon for the seasons. This is like God made, this is the right way. This is the way it's supposed to be. God said, you're going to do this and only this. I'm going to make moon for seasons. I'm going to set a boundary so the waters will not pass over it. I'm going to fence for springs in the valleys. The earth is satisfied with it. The grass for cattle, and the cattle are satisfied. The vegetation for the labor of mankind, so they may produce food from the earth, and wine. So this is all good stuff. Wine, which makes the human heart cheerful. Wine must be good. Making human heart cheerful. Oh no, that's not. It must be good. He makes oil to make his face gleam. Hey, that's a good thing. Food which sustains the human heart. It's good to sustain yourself with food. Wine making the heart cheerful must not be a bad thing. Now we did see over here, right here. See now, when Amnon's heart is cheerful with wine, I say to you, strike Amnon, and put him to death. So, getting drunk could lead you, getting your heart cheerful with wine could lead to bad situations. Nabal's heart was cheerful within him, for he was very drunk. Full chapter, watch this, 25:36. But in the morning, when the wine had gone out of Nabal, his wife told him these things, and his heart died within him, so it became like a stone. Yep. So Nabal was happy when the wine left him. Yikes, is that a bad thing? No, it just says, hey, when you're not cheerful with wine and you get bad news, which Abigail gave Nabal bad news, when you get bad news, yikes, maybe he's in his right mind. He should be scared of bad news, probably. Proverbs. Does Proverbs have anything to say? Let's look up, we looked up cheerful heart. Let's look up drunk. Do not get drunk with wine, in which there's debauchery, but be filled with the Spirit. Good. Debauchery means extreme partying, like probably coarse joking, lewdness, like sexual stuff, roughhousing and beating people up. They're good, extreme, breaking stuff, party all night, and then when you wake up in the morning, you're too lazy to go out work in your field because you've been partying. You party all night, and then you're like, oh, I can't move, and I can't go make money. I can't provide for my family, stuff like that. You party all night, and usually people who are partying all night, a lot of those people are not the best company to be with. Go to church, you usually got good company. Go to people who like to party all night and get drunk and have sex, usually not the best company. So don't get drunk with wine. Okay. Noah drank some wine and became drunk and uncovered himself inside his tent. When you become drunk, uncovering yourself in your tent, no good. That led to a disastrous thing. One of his sons saw him naked, went out and told his brothers, "Hey, Noah, our dad is naked." That wasn't a good thing. That was shameful to the dad. Okay. One second. I'm going to look up wine. Drink some wine, become drunk. Okay, that's what we just said. Bread and wine. Oh, look at that. Melchizedek, the king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. Now, he was a priest of God Most High. He brought out wine. He brought out wine. Wine, which makes the heart cheerful. People get drunk off wine. Melchizedek brought out wine. Okay. Come, let's make our father drink wine and let's sleep with him. So we meet, yikes. So their father drink wine that night. So wine can be used for good because a priest is using it. Boaz drank some wine, but wine can be used for bad. Okay, I'm looking for a specific chapter now. Deuteronomy, right here. Watch this. This will take you a long time to look through. It's taken me quicker because I've looked at all this. But if you're going to study this all out, it could take a long time. One second. Where is it at? Deuteronomy. Should go there. Deuteronomy 14:26. Okay. Oops. Read full chapter. All right. You shall certainly tithe, give a tenth. All the produce from what you sow, which comes from the field every year. When you get your produce from the field, you're going to give a tenth of it. You shall eat it in the presence of the Lord your God, at the place where he chooses to establish his name. The tithe of your grain, your new wine, your oil, and the firstborn of your herd and your flock, so that you may learn to fear the Lord your God always. So God said, you can tithe the tithe of your grain, your wine. And you're to eat it in the presence of the Lord. You're going to eat your tithe and drink your wine and use your oil in the presence of the Lord. But if the distance is so great for you, you are not able to bring the tithe, since the place where the Lord your God chooses to set his name is too far away from you. God might say, look at this, you shall eat it in the presence of the Lord at the place where he chooses to establish his name. What if that place is really far away? What if it's not like next door? What if God chooses one city? Oh, like Jerusalem, where he puts the temple. You have to go all the way there. You might have wagons, they might break. You might have donkeys, but they're not very strong. What if you're all really, really old and you have a few young kids? You can't carry everything. You're going to carry the firstborn of your herd and your flock. Are you going to try and put grain and what if it's just too far to carry all that stuff? You ain't got cars and buses. So you shall exchange it for money, bind the money in your hand, go to the place which the Lord your God chooses. Okay, good. Exchange all your tithe of all your stuff for money. Go to the place where God chooses. You may spend the money on whatever your heart desires, on oxen, sheep, wine, other strong drink. Whatever your heart desires, there you shall eat in the presence of the Lord your God and rejoice, you and your household. You're going to spend tithe money in the presence of the Lord to have a feast for the Lord on wine and strong drink and eat and be happy, you and your whole family. It must be possible to drink wine and, in fact, drink wine and gladden the heart, make your heart cheerful, and it be a good thing. Must be. It's crazy, isn't it? But it can have very bad consequences Watch this. Sparkle, I think. There it goes. Oh, well, the wine. We could have looked up wine. Look at that. Wine. When is it? Okay. Whole chapter. When you sit down with a ruler, consider carefully what is before you. Put a knife to your throat. If you're a person of great appetite, do not desire his delicacies, for it is deceptive food. Okay. So be careful about just eating a bunch of the food when a king invites you somewhere. You know, man, that guy's a glutton. Look at all the food he's eating. You know, the king might just be doing it just to say, hey, I have a lot of wealth. Look at all my food. He doesn't expect you to eat it. I don't know, maybe. So don't be gluttonous with your food in the wrong situation. Probably not at all, but you know, do not worry yourself to gain wealth. Stop dwelling on wealth. Look, wealth certainly makes wings for itself. So don't be gluttonous. Don't get a lot of wealth. Don't be staring at wealth. When you set your eyes on it, the wealth is gone. Don't eat the bread of a selfish person. The person is selfish. Don't eat their bread. Don't desire his delicacies. Okay. Do not speak to be heard by a fool. Okay. You're speaking, you're being heard by a fool. Now, Jesus spoke and was heard by fools. So there must be a way to speak and be heard by fools and it'd be okay. But here, look at this. Why? Why shouldn't you speak and be heard by fools? He will despise the wisdom of your words. Okay, so it's naming situations like the king, the ruler, his food is deceptive. So be careful how much you eat or what you eat. Don't gain wealth. Be careful. It goes away quickly. You can use wealth for God, yes, but hey, don't set your eyes on it. It goes away quickly. Okay. Right here. Don't withhold discipline from a child. You can rescue his soul from Sheol. Don't spoil your child. You discipline him correctly. Hey, you'll rescue him that way. All right. These are general principles telling us what to do good, how to control ourselves in situations. Don't do too much. Don't do too little. Don't give too little discipline to your kid. Don't dwell on wealth too much. Don't eat food in the wrong situations too much. Okay. Now, here we go. Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has contentions? Who has complaining? Now, I skipped all this because I know all this, but what would you have to do? You would have to read all this and say, oh, do not be heavy drinkers of wine, or you're with gluttonous eaters of meat. For the heavy drinker and the glutton will come to poverty. Drowsiness, because you're lazy, will clothe one with rags. Don't be drowsy. You're going to be clothed with rags, right? Don't be lazy. So when you're reading all this, you can see all this stuff about wine. It's a bigger picture. It's not just about wine, but you want specifically stuff about wine? Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has contentions? Who has complaining? Who has wounds without cause? Who has red eyes like you're really tired? Those who linger long over wine. Those who go to taste mixed wine. I'm not sure what mixed wine. Search out. Those who search out mixed wine. You're like looking for it, right? You're lingering long over it. Just like don't linger over wealth, right? When it sparkles in the cup, when it goes down smoothly up here. For he thinks to himself, eat and drink. Do not desire his delicacies, right? Do not desire his delicacies, right? You're desiring the delicacies. When it sparkles in the cup, it goes down smoothly. In the end, it bites like a snake. It stings like a viper. Your eyes will see strange things. That's true. When you get drunk, your mind will say perverse things. Do not be drunk on wine, but be filled with the Holy Spirit, like Ephesians said. You will be like one who lies down in the middle of the sea. Your heart. You lie down in the heart of the sea. You'll lie. Okay, like you're going up and down. Nobody's around. Like look at this. They struck me, but I did not become ill, even though you're drunk. That's why. They beat me, but I did not know it. When will I awake? I will seek another drink. Be careful. You can drink, obviously, and it'll be okay, but it can take over you. Is wine bad in itself? No, God gives it to us to desire it. God says you can spend your money on it and feast in front of me with it. Glad God gives us wine to gladden our heart, food to sustain ourselves. But now, please be careful with it. You know, Stop share. Okay, guys, that's an example of a topical Bible study. Look at just the Bible. We searched it out. We saw the stuff, you know. All right. I hope these help. I hope this very basic Bible topic thing helps, you know. In the show notes, I will probably, underneath the YouTube video, you will scroll down and, you know, you get to the comments. But between the comments and the video, there will be, it'll say share, watch later, stuff like that. It'll also say show more. It'll have a description of stuff from the video. I will probably put some sermons and some stuff in there for us so that we're not like wondering like what's going on here, you know. Okay, guys, I hope this helps, and I hope this shows you how you yourself can study the Bible. Like I said, it will take a lot longer for you than it did for me for this wine one. But I showed one with Jezreel. Yeah, I showed one with He Who Calls from the book of Galatians. Those came to less definitive notions. Those took a little longer. I had to read a lot more stuff because we're learning. That's all we want you to do in these Bible studies. We want you to learn to study the Bible for yourself and make funny hand motions like, I don't know, you know, John Piper, when you watch him preach, makes funny, you know, Francis Chan, where I watch him preach, makes even, I watch this guy named Vodi Bakum, a very reformed guy, watching him preach. I've never watched Steve Gregg preach. Leighton Flowers, he's a preacher. I never watched him preach. Leonard Ravenhill, preacher. I never watched him. I'm sure they make hand motions too. All right, guys. You know, that's all for this very basic Bible. God bless.